Hey everyone, and welcome to Maybe Muslim. I'm Mariam Haider, producer and host of the podcast, and in this episode, I'm in conversation with Zahra Batool, a 20-year-old resident of Minjee village near Kargil. Fondly known as Saiba, she's an avid hiker, but despite growing up in and around Ladakh, hiking or camping in the mountains was not a pursuit that she or her friends undertook until an off chance with an older friend helped her discover this part of life. In this conversation, Saiba shares the wonders and joys that she finds through hiking, and despite community expectations, she continues to hike regularly, offering a chance to many girls and young women like her to explore their home in more ways than one. We also discuss the role of families and institutions in supporting girls' outdoor pursuits, the real time changes she has witnessed around her owing to the climate crisis and how it affects her hiking, and imagine the many possibilities where women of all ages can explore hiking and wandering in the mountains just for themselves. Hey Saiba, welcome to Maybe Muslim. It is such a pleasure and a joy to see you and have you on the show.
Hi, Mariam. Thank you for having me.
It's so lovely, firstly, that we got a chance to, catch up before this recording. But I really wanted to, start from saying that I got very intrigued and interested in your story because I read a piece by another girl from Kargil called Mohsina. And, in that piece, she talked about how she has explored hiking as a way of exploring her sense of identity and freedom. And I wanted to learn from you as how has hiking been a source of freedom and recognizing and learning about yourself better. But also, can you share a bit about your early beginnings growing up in Kargil, and how, despite being surrounded by the mountains, the pursuit of being in the mountains was a very different experience and appeared much later in your life.
Yeah, I would start from like what people usually assume, like me, a girl from Kargil. People usually assume that when you are surrounded by the mountains, it's very easy to go hike to the mountains, climb to the mountains, have a peaceful time, and come back. But it's not as it seems. It's not easy for a woman, especially in a region like this, surrounded by mountains, but at the same time, few or some conservative people also, I would say. So I started at a very young age, and it was not easy. There was constant, criticizing, discourage, and constant pressure to not to go to the mountains. Being a girl, it shouldn't be your thing to be in the mountains all the time. If it's not work related, it's useless to be there. It's dangerous. It's not safe. Yeah, I can agree to the safety part. Yes, we know like there is this safety concern for women, but still, other than that, there is no reason not to go to the mountains. Like if you going there, you can have a peaceful time, then why not? So it was challenging from the very beginning, but it's now changing. Thankfully, it's changing gradually.
And I believe it's changing because girls and young women like you and Mohsina have been changing the script, quite literally.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes,
you told me very just before we start this recording about that you were probably 8 or 9 years old when you had your first
yes.
experience
Mm-mm.
of really seeing the place you come from like that height. Can you share a bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, I would love to share the story from the very beginning. So it was like I was in a second grade, around 9 years. So there's a girl who lives in a town around 10 kilometers away from my village, but her mother is from my village. So when she visited her grandparents, she took us to swimming. Like she is very different, so curious, so adventurous, and the way she looked at the world is totally different from ours. So the first day she took us to swimming, and then the next day, she took us to the nearby mountain. And when I asked my family for permission, and they were like, no, there are creatures, mysterious creatures living in the mountain. There are spirits, ghosts, things like that. But I was stubborn, and there were so many girls also, so I went there. And then there was nothing. It was so, funny. We have been through that. There is a very narrow path, I told you, very dark, kind of dark. So when we were there, there was nothing. We crossed that area and we like reached a height. And from that height, I was able to see my whole village where I have been born and brought up. And it was like my first time seeing that place from above, so beautiful, green, you know. And that feeling was something, as I told you, I cannot put it in words, but it was so serene, like something. And from that day on, I went to the mountain again and again for about like 10 times by now, I guess, just to get that feeling, that peace of mind. It was beautiful, amazing. Yes.
When you say to get that feeling, how have the feelings changed? You think like the first feeling I'm assuming would have been of awe, almost that
Yeah.
this is unbelievable, right? And then gradually it starts taking shape in different ways. How has that been for you?
Yeah, at first it was wonder. I was like wonder. I was shocked, literally. And I was shocked at the thing that everyone told us there are creatures, but I couldn't find any creatures, anything, nothing there. Like literally, my Bua told me that there is a person wearing a white kafan. I couldn't find anything there. Plus the wave, everything was new for me. And from then on and on, there was, I would say, like every time I hike to the mountain, even if it's the same mountain, but the feeling is totally different. It's not like you got bored of the same feeling, the same wave. Every time you hike to the mountain, even if it's the same, the feeling is new. The feeling brings a calmness, let's take a break. Let's give yourself some time. Let's just move away from all the distraction, pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's very interesting you're saying this, and I think this is true across all ages, specifically for women. That the idea of pursuing leisure or relaxation outside of home is is still unfortunately very questionable. And yes, things are changing. I think more and more that has transformed. But I also grew up, with that expectation or rather कंडीशनिंग कि अगर बाहर जाना है तो कोई मकसद से जाना है कहीं पे भी
Mhm.
तो वो एक दिमाग में बैठ जाता था कि अच्छा पढ़ाई के लिए जा रहे हैं ट्यूशन के लिए जा रहे हैं कोई पर्पस होगा कि बाहर निकलना है लेकिन हाइकिंग लाइक यू सेड एंड गोइंग इनटू द माउंटेन्स इज अ वेरी पर्पसलेस एंडेवर यू कैन डिफाइन द फीलिंग जैसे तुमने भी समझाई लेकिन हम कुछ लेकर नहीं आते वहाँ से यू नो
एग्जैक्टली।
एंड वो
हाँ, कुछ दिखाने के लिए नहीं होता है, माउंटेन्स पे गई थी, ये लेके आई हूँ। एग्जैक्टली।
पत्थर लेकर आए
एग्जैक्टली।
um, which is a very I mean say more about that because I guess हम लोग अपने में ये बातें बहुत करते हैं तो it's good to also talk about it more openly and publicly कि बिना वजह के बाहर जाना और बाहर ऐसे नहीं कि मतलब एक दो घंटे के लिए बाहर ना मतलब पहाड़ों में चले गए शाम तक लौटेंगे या कैंप
एग्जैक्टली।
पे
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली। हाँ, लाइक वेरी रिसेंटली जब मैं अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ हाइकिंग पे जा रही थी जस्ट फ्यू डेज अगो, तो पहले तो मेरी फैमिली कहा करते थे कि डोंट गो टू द माउंटेन्स, दे आर क्रिएचर्स, बट नाउ आई हैव ग्रोन अप, सो वो ट्रिक तो नहीं अप्लाई होगा मुझ पे। So yes, she literally told me that why you are going to the mountains, like पहाड़ों में कौन ही जाता है, like useless, क्या ही मिलेगा वहां पे जाके, instead you should study or do something else. But I have been studying for the 6 days, like in a week. I usually study for the 6 days, and then हफ्ते में एक दिन निकाल के मैं हाइकिंग पे या फिर अपने दोस्तों के साथ कहीं माउंटेन्स में ही यूजुअली चली जाती हूँ। तो इट्स नॉट ओनली फॉर कि तुम वहां पे जा रहे हो कुछ बन के आओगे, कुछ लेके आओगे अपने साथ। इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट एवरी टाइम। कोई ना कोई कुछ होना नहीं चाहिए दिखाने के लिए कि मैंने ये किया था और मुझे ये मिला। हर चीज को हम कुछ ना कुछ चीजों से तोलने लग जाएंगे तो फिर तो कोई मीनिंग ही नहीं बचेगा, यू नो, लाइफ का। हर चीज में कुछ ना कुछ रिवॉर्ड ही होना चाहिए, नहीं मिलेगा हर बार कोई रिवॉर्ड। समटाइम्स आप में जो पीस आपको मिलता है, जो कामनेस, यू आर away from the chaos and all that, it itself a reward, I would say. You have a healthy lungs, you have a healthy body, you can go to the mountains. see the nature, live the nature, meditate or introspect. It's itself a big reward, I would say. And yes, usually हमारे यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि लड़कियां जाती है पहाड़ों पे, बट फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग मैंने देखा है, मेरी दादी भी कहती थी कि वो जाती थी पहाड़ों में, लेकिन इधर टू कलेक्ट वुड्स या फिर भेड़ बकरियों को चराने के लिए, बट सिर्फ वो सिर्फ काम तक ही लिमिटेड रहा है। अदर देन दैट, लेजर के लिए, फन के लिए, इंजॉयमेंट के लिए, इट्स अ वेरी न्यू concept फॉर देम, लाइक गर्ल्स गोइंग टू द माउंटेन्स टू एंजॉय लाइफ, हाउ डेयर डू it's now changing, but from old age like group के लिए अभी भी it's something very different. They are
Hmm.
literally, amazed कि ऐसा भी होता है क्या, लड़कियां ऐसे भी करती है, because they have never experienced such things at their time, ना?
It's
Mm.
also true, what you're saying, ki the experience of, and I'm repeating your words which you had shared in our last conversation, is the destination is not necessarily the goal. Like all the experiences you're collecting on the way, new and old both, kind of become the very reason to go. Obviously, like you are from Kargil, you are born and raised, you've grown up there. Though the environment you grew up in and the experiences you're collecting and kind of building for yourselves also, I believe, give a chance to all the other people within your community to expand their sense of sort of expectations from the women, or rather like understanding like women can desire these kinds of conveniences and freedoms, and also um, be okay with respecting and kind of belonging to the traditions that they
Mhm.
come from. And I think that is also very very delightful to hear. Okay, it's no binary. It's not you can be this or you can't be that. You can be
Mhm.
and I think I love the expressions when I think girls like you and Mohsina are saying that we are ready to be everything. Like we are
Mhm.
ambitious and we are
Exactly.
driven and we are also following the way we want to follow our faith and belonging. Over the years, do you think there are more people in the villages, in the community you're from, who have started to accept that and challenge it less?
Yes, yes, gradual. Yeah, as I told you, I'm seeing the changes gradually, but उस space पे नहीं जिस space पे things should change. Like people, like I would say कि the adventurous things and all that are often associated with men usually, But for a girl, they're expected to follow the cultural norms, follow the religious norms, and take the responsibility of household, and then at a certain age marry and take care of your children and all that. But mm, like we are kind of, I would say, breaking that stereotype. No, girls are not limited to marriage, household responsibilities. We can take the household responsibilities. We can follow the religious norms, but we can be adventurous at the same time. We can take our faith and our ambition together. I would like मैं example के through explain करना चाहूंगी कि right now I'm seeing so many athletes in Kargil. They are representing, India. They are from a small district like Kargil, and they are representing India at international level. So inspiring thing, right? But it's only possible because 10 and 20 years ago, there were used to be some, maybe there is some girls who break the stereotypes, who initiated it first. That's why now girls are like more openly in this field, athletes. Similarly, I would say in maybe in 10 and 20 years, there would be so many girls hiking, trekking more freely. Right now we are free, but not at that level. Maybe in 10 and 20 decades, 2 decades, 1 and 2 decades, there will be girls who are like freely exploring and maybe choosing this as a career also. For that, we have to initiate somewhere. And I feel so proud that I'm a very little part of that movement. Me, Mohsina, and my friends, we are contributing to that movement. And there are so many girls, like, not like so many girls who are initiating it. And yeah, that's it. Like, you have to begin somewhere so
Hmm.
that the future generation, upcoming girls, can do that freely.
Yeah, I think that's very inspiring. In some ways, I'm also, reminded of your friend. when you were 9 years
Mm-hmm.
old, who kind of became
Mm-hmm.
your, inspiration.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
She kind of opened your mind to this possibility of exploring your own world in a very new way and expanding the sense of what your world was. I agree 100% with you that, you and girls like Mosina and your friends are not just breaking that mold, but in reshaping a new mold, reshaping a new sort of world. कि भाई, you can design it your own way. You can uh, call it your own, and you don't have to fit into somebody else's definition. And it is okay.
Exactly.
And it is okay. Having said that, do you aspire? Is that something that, somewhere is at an aspiration for you to be a professional hiker, be a professional guide, and perhaps, have a bigger ambition with that in the coming years?
Yeah, yeah, I would love to be a professional hiker because the experience that I have gained, the things that I have felt to the mountains, like I have been to new places, and I want other people like my friends, you, and so many people to feel the same thing, to see the world in that way, टू लाइक नो कि एक हाइट पे जाके ऊपर से नीचे गाँव को देखना, वहाँ के लोगों को काम करते हुए देखना, ग्रीनरी नेचर में ही get lost in nature, how it feels. I want them to feel the same way. So I would say I can, as I have been through all this, so I can guide other, अच्छे से गाइड कर सकती हूँ क्योंकि I have been through the same thing, I would say. Yes.
And I also think there is a certain sense of sort of local understanding and local knowledge that
Mm-hmm.
if you have lived in a place long enough, only you kind of grow with it. You become one with the ecology. You become one with the mountains. You kind of almost get the you understand that the terrain and the place much more than anyone else can. So
Mm-hmm.
someone can be a professional hiker or a person like a hiker who's very experienced, rather very experienced hiker, and they come to hike in Kargil or someplace, but the understanding that you have or you offer to them is very different. In one of your, I think we spoke about it also that when you and your friends are hiking, there are some villagers who will kind of question कि क्या करने जा रही हो. They'll even ask you if you are from Kargil or not because they are confused.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then they also know certain paths and ways in these places which are unfamiliar to a lot of outsiders. People wouldn't be familiar that there are different alternative paths to get to a certain point, but the locals know it better.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of collaboration is very important, I think, in places like this. Like otherwise, it's very hard to access certain places, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like I would say किसी और के कंपेयर में like for us who have been through all this as I said हम ज़्यादा अच्छे से explain कर पाएंगे, we would be able to make them reach each and every point, get all the experiences अच्छे से rather than someone else from outside, right? And as we like, क्योंकि हम लोकल है, हम लोकल लोगों को जानते हैं वहाँ के, तो if someone who is outsider and visiting Ladakh, Kargil for hiking and all that, उनको अच्छे से गाइड करना, और मतलब पूरे इस जर्नी का एक अच्छा पार्ट ये रहता है कि आप लोकल से कम्युनिकेट करते हो, उनसे जानते हो, उनसे उनकी हिस्ट्री के बारे में जानते हो कि वो उस जगह में पहले क्या हुआ करता था, अब क्या हो रहा है, एंड उसके लिए कम्युनिकेट हम ज़्यादा अच्छे से कर पाएंगे जब हम वहाँ पे होंगे, जिन्होंने वो चीज़ पहले कर चुका है, वहाँ से पहले ही हो गुजर चुके हैं वो चीज़ों से.
Yeah.
आई डोंट नो हाउ टू एक्सप्लेन दैट बाय द वे.
It's okay. I think, and that is I think इस conversation में वो explain भी नहीं हो पाएगा. I think whenever inshallah I come, because I'm signing up for your hiking expedition next, I can only experience that by being with you and exploring that place with you. उसको explain करना या उसके बारे में समझना verbally is not easy actually.
यस,
And
अनलेस यू,
hmm.
unless and until आप वहाँ पे जाके खुद एक्सपीरियंस करके आओ.
Yeah. And having said that, has the sentiment about girls hiking, girls from the community hiking,
Mhm.
also been changing in other villages as you cross, क्योंकि जब भी तुम लोग जाते होंगे अलग अलग जगह पे तो you're obviously crossing different villages, right? And people are seeing you.
Yeah.
So do you think over the period of time that is changing, or do you still feel like कहीं जाते वक्त you think like यहाँ जाएंगे तो कोई कहे कुछ कहे तो नहीं देगा type, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that fear is still, exists. ऐसा बहुत बार हुआ है हमारे साथ. Like as I told you last time, we were in a village, a very new village. We had never been there. So while hiking, we met some elderly woman, and literally she called us Bihari. Yeah, just because we were wearing trouser and jackets and a backpack, even though we were wearing our stuff properly, but she called us Bihari, and Bihari means like usually for that age group people, Bihari is usually called to those who are outside Ladakh who are not local. 'Cause they have seen construction worker more often in their area. In Kargil, they are like very common from Bihar, the construction workers, and they literally called us Biharis because we were wearing trousers and jackets, and we were hiking to the mountains uselessly. That's what they think, that we are uselessly, climbing the mountains. And she called us Bihari. But I totally, like it's okay. I have no problem with her. I totally understand why she's saying that. Maybe it's like different for her to seeing girls like this because she had never got the opportunity to do that. Or maybe at her time there were, limits. Like girls can do all of these things, and it's different for her that now the girls are breaking the boundaries, setting a new definition of women. So I totally understand that.
तो जब उन्हें
But
पता
I
लगा
hope,
कि यू आर फ्रॉम,
yes, yes,
जब उनको रियलाइज हुआ कि यू आर फ्रॉम कारगिल एंड दैट यू आर फ्रॉम
local.
अ लोकल कम्युनिटी, तो क्या था उनका रिएक्शन?
Mhm. Yeah, they were shocked. I guess she called us Bihari just to tease us. Obviously, if she were listening to our conversation, she might have thought these are locals, but dressing and doing things that the Western people do. That's why she called us Biharis, just to tease us, I think. Yeah, and that's very common among her age people. It's not the first time that we have been called Biharis or uh, copycat, copying the Western norms. Like hiking and mountaineering, these are often associated with the Westerns because only that kind of people do these things. Our children, our girls are not supposed to do hiking and all that unless and until it's for, work related, collecting woods and rearing sheep and cattle.
But this is also quite ironical, na, कि for a community, rather for like girls who are women who are living in the mountains, you've spent your whole life there. Mountaineering or hiking is seen as a pursuit that is not for women, or it's a
Mhm.
western pursuit, like you were saying
Mhm.
कि um, वो लोग जो बाहर से आते हैं वो यहाँ पे इसको घूमने के तरीके से देखते हुए हैं, आते हैं, लेकिन
Mhm.
अपनी अपने कम्युनिटी की लड़कियाँ, द women, for them mountain is a source of food or fuel,
Mhm.
whatever.
Good. Mhm.
um, so I think it's also in a way for me quite ironical कि हम जिस terrain में पैदा हुए हैं वहीं पे the question of experiencing or exploring that terrain is not been a, and I think you guys are changing that, like you said, like it's changing over a period of time, that
Mhm.
obviously you guys become the first guardians of that place. You become the first, that the mountains are your home. Everyone else
Yeah.
is like a guest to those
Yes,
places.
exactly. हाँ, exactly. The mountains are our homes और हमें उसके हर जर्रे जर्रे से वाकिफ होना चाहिए. But वही हम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, and we are being questioned for why you are doing this. It's
Mm.
so, I mean, funny and
Do men from your community all hike? Is that a common practice that they do, or is it just not a locally practiced pursuit at all?
yeah, it's common for men. I have seen my cousins when I was very young. I have seen them going to camping Like, yeah, they went to camping for 2 days and 3 days straight, and then come back after 2 days or 3 days, carrying so many, fruits, snacks, and all that. It is common for them, but for girls,
Hmm.
it is questioned. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so the bhoot pret and all the spirits don't harm the boys, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, oh my gosh, it was such a
So it's a
hard
very,
reality, I would
it's a
say.
very specific, it's a
Reality.
very specific spirit that only
Mm,
uh,
for girls.
for girls. Yes, the spirit does not like girls.
Exact, exactly. Now I realize. Oh my God, I realized it now. Why why these are things doesn't exist for boys? क्योंकि मैंने नहीं सुना लड़कों को भूत प्रेत आत्मा कुछ करता है उनके लिए harmful है, but it's only come out. Yeah, that person wearing the white kafan comes out only when they see girls.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Clearly,
Maybe
clearly.
they're scared of the man boys,
Exactly. Bilkul.
and they think girls are weak.
Yeah. Maybe
Hmm.
they're scared of the men. Huh. True. True.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I have heard कि भूत प्रेत लड़कों से डर जाते हैं, मैंने बचपन से सुना है क्योंकि
Oh,
लड़कियों
acha.
को
Oh,
हाँ
I didn't know.
सुपरस्टिशन चीजें, यस यस, ये जो सुपरस्टिशियस चीजें हैं ये सिर्फ सुपर नेचुरल चीजें, ये मिस्टीरियस व्हाटएवर दीज,
हाँ.
मोस्टली वो लड़कियों के साथ होता हुआ देखा है मैंने, किसी ने पकड़
हाँ.
लिया भूत
Actually, हाँ,
पकड़
it's
लिया।
true. I mean, so when I was growing up, तो एक दो I used to hear these stories. Um, but I think मैंने सुना दोनों को like बच्चों में. So I think हम बच्चे थे तो और बच्चे were included. लड़का लड़की दोनों.
हम्म,
अब बड़े
हम्म,
होके सिर्फ लड़कियों के लिए हो गए वो भूत प्रेत वो अलग बात है.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली,
But
यस यस।
when we were kids, it was like every kid should know about this, bhoot pret, atma, some spirit in the forest kind of thing. Okay, nahi jana hai, so
एग्जैक्टली।
you're telling everyone. But it's fascinating, right? Like to kidhar.
I mean, these all just to discourage women from exploring the mountain.
While we
So,
are at it also, so
mm,
Saiba, you told me about this friend of yours who is your age, and while you have spoken to her to join you on these expeditions,
mhm,
she is still
mhm,
of the mindset that she wants to sort of stay at home or rather focus on studies and education. And I'm sure that must be a case for many women otherwise, that it's not like कि अगर दो तीन लड़कियां जा रही हैं तो like everyone suddenly just decides कि हाँ we'll go, but it's a very gradual
mhm.
shift कि you go for one and then
Yes,
how
yes.
do you feel. um
Mhm,
and this is you were telling me this is your friend from school, like bachpan se you both have been together,
yep.
you've been neighbors. Do you think there is a role that potentially educators, teachers, schools can play in supporting these kinds of activities for girls specifically?
Mhm. Yes, school can play a very important role in this, I guess. Because I was in a school called Unity Public School, very close to my house. And I remember they used to, वो हमें trekking पे ले जाते थे every summer. हम स्टूडेंट्स लाइक मॉर्निंग असेंबली में चिल्लाते थे ट्रेकिंग ट्रेकिंग करके, एंड देन फाइनली जो स्कूल के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स होते थे स्टूडेंट्स के द्वारा इलेक्ट किए हुए, उन जब वो प्रिंसिपल सर से बात करते थे तो फाइनली वो ले जाते थे हमें ट्रेकिंग पे स्कूल यूनिफॉर्म पहना के, लेकिन ज्यादा दूर नहीं, जस्ट पास में ही कोई, ज्यादा हाइट पे नहीं, पास में ही कहीं ले जाके लंच वंच खिला के फिर वापस आते थे बाय वॉकिंग। सो yeah, it started when I was in again third, fourth grade. So, but the thing is that as long as you are going with the school teachers, there is no issue. But now, लेकिन things वहीं पे फिर से limited हो जाती है कि if you are going with your teachers, okay fine then go क्योंकि सारे बच्चे जा रहे हैं, there are teachers to look after you. But when it comes to you and your friends only, फिर वहाँ पे फिर से restrictions आ जाते हैं, no it's not safe, you are girls. Yeah, I can चलो understand कि girls, there are safety concern for girls, but other than that there should not be any other reason कि लड़कियों का पहाड़ों में जाना is not good करके। Yes.
And the question of safety, where does that arise from? Is it safety in terms of like, okay, there can be accidents, there can be any, that it is an unfamiliar place, so you can't obviously be sure. Or is there anything else that?
So the safety is, I guess, it can be just excuse, or
Hmm.
it can be genuine, I would say. Because if you're going to a new place, it's not like I don't think there is anything in the mountains like dangerous thing other than the mysterious creatures. I don't think there is another dangerous thing. Yeah, about the weather, we can say we don't, no, the unpredicted weather. But it's if it's the weather is dangerous, then it's for both the women and men. So it's not like that. Like safety in case of weather is for both, but safety in case like there must be so many unknown people or men actually. Safety like हम उस पॉइंट पे आ रहे हैं क्योंकि खतरा इस बात का हो सकता है कि वहां पे क्या पता बुरे लोग हो, कुछ कर ना दे, कुछ हो ना जाए, तुम लड़कियां हो, डेंजरस है, कुछ हो गया तो लोग क्या कहेंगे, वहां की दो चार बातें सुनने पड़ेंगे. दैट्स ऑल्सो ट्रू, बट माउंटेन्स में आई डोंट थिंक बुरे लोग माउंटेन्स में जाएंगे, आई डोंट थिंक. होगा भी तो वी आर इन अ ग्रुप, वी आर like group of friends, and thankfully my female friends are also martial art players, so
एग्जैक्टली
yes.
एग्जैक्टली या
Hmm.
मतलब किसी को बहुत मेहनत करके जाना पड़ेगा, किसी किसी बुरे इंटेंट के साथ उसको भी हाइकिंग करना पड़ेगा।
मुझे नहीं लगता बुरे लोग इतना हाइट पे है, हाइट पे हाइक कर पाएंगे. आई डोंट थिंक बैड पीपल हैव गुड लंग्स.
True, true. Yeah. But it is interesting, right? Like the concept of safety is so it's so loose.
Mhm.
कि like you're just saying, right? कि weather is uncertain. Get it?
Mm-mm.
पता है weather uncertain
Mm-mm.
है तो
हाँ.
we will anyone will avoid that. Nobody will go.
Mm-mm.
मतलब ऐसा नहीं है
Exactly.
कि suddenly a bad weather will only be bad for the girls and for the boys it will turn a sunny, sunny day or
Exactly.
something. um, and if there is this unknown terrain, कि भाई we don't know what is the path, but that's for all genders, that's for everyone.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So then
Mm-hmm.
we are coming down to one that there can be people with bad intentions or men with bad intentions. And then you have
Mm-hmm.
girls who are trained in martial arts. So you're like, well, let him try his luck.
Exactly. It's also very rare to find bad people in good places like mountain high.
I think that should be your tagline for as your hiking group.
Uh-huh.
Somewhat along that line that bad people with bad intentions don't hike. तो
Exactly.
सारे पेरेंट्स सारी बुआओं आंटियों को ये हमें बोल्ड लेटर्स में व्हाट्सएप कर देना
There's
चाहिए।
a slogan के तौर पे. Yes.
So, Saiba, I think the other thought that comes to me is, do you think the mindset of older generation women, and maybe just not just women, but everyone, can change if they start accompanying you on hikes too? Like, what if your boa starts going on a hike with you?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. No, she will never join me, but it will work for other girls if they like if their mother is restricting them. Why don't they just take their mother along with them?
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
So
hmm.
then they will realize it's not as like they might think that it's not what I'm thinking. It's not like what I was expecting, dangerous and all that. It's actually fun to be in the mountains. So
Hmm.
I should let my daughter to enjoy the mountains.
And is that something
Yeah.
it would be exciting, I think, to pursue older women also to join because this is what I'm observing now, right? कि the idea of freedom is changes with every generation, but it only changes if someone, questions and pushes the boundary. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to break that. Like it becomes like you're saying, like this one friend of yours who was the most like she was the outlier, right? When जब तुम 8-9 साल
Mm-hmm.
की थी कि वो स्विमिंग करने तुम्हें लेके गई and वो फिर तुम लोगों को she took you to the mountain and everything. तो अगर और तुम्हारी जैसी लड़कियां, तुम्हारे जैसे ऑल द वुमेन लाइक यंग वुमेन लाइक यू, when they push, then perhaps something will change in the older generation as well, to be like, okay, let me also explore this place which is home for me too. They also lived all their lives there. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm quite excited at the idea, but of course, like it's an idea. And it would be so amazing to see that kind of hiking experience where different generations of women hike together, and maybe even get to talk and share things that it's not easy to talk within the boundaries of a community or a home all the time.
Yeah, it would be so nice, right, if that idea actually comes in
Hmm.
action. But yeah, as I said, like it worked for me. I took my father on a camping. And from that day, he allowed me to go to the mountains even more. Like
Hmm.
earlier, like my father has always been very supportive, but from that day on, he's like, we should go on a camping once in a year for sure.
So
And we
cool.
literally went, yeah, and me and my father, we went to a camping just 20 days ago to Zanskar.
Oh, nice. अरे वाह.
Yes, yeah, so it will work as if it works for my father. He allowed me
Hmm.
after experiencing those things. So it might work for the old ladies also. They might get to live the life that they never ever lived when they
Hmm.
were young. They
Hmm.
never experienced it when they were young. They missed out at that time, but it's not late.
Hmm. Hmm.
Better late than never, I would say.
Huh, and I
Yeah,
think,
but mhm,
yeah, go on.
mhm. But I would say it depends on the girls now. Like if I took my, Bua, she will not join for sure. But if I try to take her to some places like not
What if
to the
you
hike
take
but
your bua's
nearby,
friend, and then that friend convinces your bua to go? मतलब उल्टा
um,
उल्टा तरीके
उल्टा
से.
हो हाँ हो सक हाँ ये भी हो सकता है ज्यादा हाइट पे नहीं बट नियर बाई प्लेसेस
Yeah.
लंच पैक करके जाए और उनके जमाने के बारे में बात करें what were the challenges they faced
Hmm.
but they surrendered
Yeah. And I
right
think this is a question for you as well, but I guess for the generation of women before you, is how much have these places changed? How much has climate change affected the way these places were when they were growing up in these mountains? And I think the most revealing aspect of how much has climate and perhaps the environment changed over a period of time can only be shared or discussed within different generations of women. But have you seen that as well happen? Do you think, like, since the time you first started hiking to now, has climate change? Have you seen the effect of climate change in these places?
Mm,
Yeah.
yes 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 I have बहुत ही कम टाइम में आई थिंक बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हुआ है इज आई टोल्ड यू दैट द नेहरू पार्क जिस जहाँ से सारी कहानियां निकलती है
Hmm.
वहां पे एक पानी का छोटा सा देयर वाज अ सोर्स ऑफ वाटर वहां से साफ ठंडा पानी नि- तब के टाइम पे निकल रहा था
Hmm.
एंड नाउ आई सी इट्स नॉट देयर एनीमोर
Hmm.
इट्स नॉट
Right.
देयर एंड वहां के आसपास जो पेड़ थे नाउ दे आर लाइक धीरे धीरे वो सूख रहे हैं और वो डार्क अब इट्स नॉट डार्क एनीमोर
Hmm.
एंड यस इट्स सो सैडनिंग आप बच्चों के कैसे डराओगे अब तो वहां पे तो अंधेरा ही नहीं है
but I
एनीवेज
mean,
तो या आई हैव चेंज और या बहुत सारे अभी बिकॉज ऑफ द क्लाइमेट चेंज एक हमारे लिए भी चैलेंज बन चुका है क्योंकि अभी हम नहीं जा पा रहे हाइट पे वी आर फ्री राइट नाउ बट हम नहीं जा पा रहे क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा बारिश हो रही है इट्स बीन टू रेनिंग फॉर द लास्ट 2 days और उसकी
hmm.
वजह से बहुत ज्यादा फ्लड्स हो आ रहे हैं यू रिमेम्बर आई टोल्ड यू दैट वी यूजुअली गो टू संको वैली सुरु वैली
जी हाँ, right. Yeah, yeah.
so there is mass yes there is mass distraction right now because of the flood
Hmm.
and it's unsafe to go there not safe at all
Um, I think that is a very real change which is happening, right? Like places that you could access in the past are no longer accessible, at least for certain
mm-hmm.
periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And I
Mhm.
think hiking, specifically by people like you, becomes such a great exercise in awareness. Um,
Mhm.
because it's something that you guys are seeing change very real time. Mm.
Exactly. And another reason for me, I wanting to become a mountain guide is also I can educate them, like giving them the happiness or experience by taking them to the various places. But along with that, I can also educate the people who are coming with me to like please live simply so that live simply so that we in the mountains can live simply. It's a quote from a very famous environmentalist from Ladakh. So, yeah, a local can explain that thing very clearly to the outsiders to, respect the nature. If don't, then you will see the consequences. Right now, you're saying.
Yeah, and I think the consequences are borne by the communities who are living there, first and
Yes,
foremost.
yes. Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's a very real threat.
And the most disheartening thing is that we are not contributing that much to the climate change, but we are facing the problems. I mean, Ladakh is a very eco-friendly, uh, region. We know the environment is very fragile, so we, like we have been like coexisting with the nature, with the wildlife, and everything. We respect them, they respect us, and that's all. We have never caused that much distraction to, and we were not the main reason for the climate change. But we are, facing the consequences the most, I would say. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it's perhaps not just the work of your generation, but across generations, and everyone perhaps listening to recognize the impact that we have. Like even the biggest and the smallest of our actions, like what is the quantum impact that it has on fragile ecosystems. So I think anyone who is choosing to go on
Mhm.
hikes or like participate in these kinds of places needs to be made aware of that. So their job is not just to like, come and have a great experience of life, but also become more aware, also become more responsible in understanding the contributions they
Mhm,
make.
exactly.
Speaking of which, do you have role models in your life? Do you look at mountaineers or anyone perhaps like that you aspire to follow the footsteps of?
Mhm. So there are like so many people. Like one is Sonam Wangchuk himself. He's such a environment loving person. He understands the environment in a much deeper way that we do. I mean, he knows everything. Like, if we do this, this will happen to the environment. If we do that, this will happen. What are the consequences? Actually, he warned us much earlier about all this. And there is as for the mountaineering, as I told you, there is a friend of mine, Eleanor. She's from America. So she is also a young woman, independent, confident, courageous. I mean, when I look at her, I was like, I want to be like her. I want to live like she is living her life. She's 45, so healthy. I mean, looking at her, she doesn't look like 45 at all. She literally carries her bicycle on her this shoulder and climbs the mountain. And then from that height, she's cycling, yeah, mountain biking down the slope.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hmm.
such a healthy woman. Yes. Mm. And there are many more.
I would also say like in so many ways, I guess you are that kind of person or role model who is making the very possibility of redefining freedom for the girls and the women around you. I mean, as much as I mean, I think when your Bua listens to this podcast, I don't know if she will, but if she does, like I do feel like this is once in a. It's very rare that you have women, young women, who can just um, be open about their ambitions and be trust the fact that they can share it and then follow it through. And I'm not saying this like that it's just for your boa or someone, but I think for all of us, right? Like to speak to each other and kind of just feel like, oh yeah, if she's doing it, maybe I can do it as well. And the experience and the
Mhm.
result of that experience can be very different. Like maybe your bua will get something else, maybe I will get something else, maybe your neighbor friend will experience it differently. So yeah, like I just feel I look at you and I also feel encouraged to say that yeah, you're one of the role models as well, and I hope I hope you can just see that for yourself.
Yeah, like it's so it's, I'm so happy to hear these things from you. And my friends and I, we will continue to do the things that we are doing now. Mm, and we will be so happy to see other girls doing the same thing, inspiring from us or just looking at us or our videos that
Hmm.
we post on Instagram. It would be so nice if if they think that if these are girls are doing this, why don't I? Why not I? Like keeping us as an example, if they are going to explore the mountains with their friends, then I would say that I really made a change.
Hmm.
I did something like I have completed my responsibility, like something.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Hmm.
I think that is the core. That's how change begins. That you can change the thinking or the experience of one person, the mindset of one person, and hopefully it becomes a domino effect. I think
Hmm.
one question, Saiba, which I have for you is also that given that you've explored, you just mentioned you went to Zanskar with your dad. What other mountains or other hikes do you have in mind that you want to explore?
There are so many. I mean, but just that. Oh my gosh, the limits. Not having a proper, I would say, transport system here. We don't have that. We have, but again, it's a challenge. Going to a place and coming back on time is itself a problem. If not, then we might not be able to explore or go on an expedition again if we don't get, reach home on time. Uh, like Dras, if you know the second coldest place in the world, it is, yeah, there are so many beautiful places there. Me, my friends, we have been planning to go there, but the challenge is transport. It's so far, like 2 or 3 hours by bus,
Hmm.
and then going there hiking and then coming back on time is a challenge. And as I told you, Suru Valley has so many beautiful places, but the transportation is just difficult here. But there are
Hmm.
so many places. For sure, we will conquer that one day.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I'm
Mhm.
fairly confident of that you will. And at the same time
And
also. Mhm.
one more thing that I want to say, that I'm jealous of the boys here around me. Like they literally अपने पापा की गाड़ी लेके वो कभी भी चले जाते हैं, and like कुछ भी नहीं कहते उनको, गाड़ी चुरा के लेके जाते हैं। उनके घर वालों को पता ही नहीं होता है कि उनके बेटे ने घर का गाड़ी लेके चले गए ट्रेकिंग पे घूमने जहाँ पर भी है, but on the other hand we are like still struggling to get a bus to the
Hmm.
place. Hmm. Just jealous of them, like how accessible and like it's so easy to like accessible for them, but not for us.
Hmm.
Mm.
Fair, of course. I think that accessibility, mobility, in fact, such a
Yeah, yeah.
it should be like for each and every one of us becomes a like if the guys can have the car, then they'll just go wherever. And I think वो चीज़ right कि कभी उनके लिए कोई सवाल ऐसा होता नहीं है कि is it safe for you or not, तो अगर वो सेफ्टी वाला क्वेश्चन अगर थोड़ा उनके लिए भी
Exactly. होता तो अच्छा रहता।
होता तो अच्छा रहता. Um, yeah, that's fair. I mean, again, it's such a real experience, right? Okay, you are a hiker, you are someone who wants to be with the mountains, explore them, but accessibility becomes a challenge. And you have to wait for buses. And I think I remember you telling me you even hitchhiked back from one of your hikes because there was no bus that was available. But
Yeah,
that's an off
yeah,
chance,
coming.
right? Um,
Mhm.
uh,
So, like, we have to be all the time very cautious about the timing. That's the bad thing, क्योंकि हाइकिंग का एक अच्छा पॉइंट ये रहता है कि आप टाइम के बारे में वरी ना करो. enjoy the time you बट वो अभी भी हम फेस करते टाइमिंग का कि टाइम पे घर वापस आना. इफ नॉट देन यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू गो अगेन नेक्स्ट टाइम. घर वाले कहेंगे कि नो नॉट दिस टाइम, क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम तुम गए थे, तुम देर से घर आए थे, विल नॉट अलाउ यू दिस टाइम. So that's a big challenge. So you have to be on time if you want to go next.
Yeah. I mean, that's the, yeah, I get
But
it.
still, but yeah, but still I feel I'm privileged when I see the girls in my neighborhood, the friend I told you about. I have been living with her, but she never joined me on a hiking, so I feel privileged. But it's also I mean, so disheartening that some girls feel they are privileged that they are going to the mountains and some are not. Just like education is equal for all, outdoor activities should be equal for all the girls
Hmm.
and boys and everyone.
Yeah.
Someone should not feel privileged about outdoor activities.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm.
And in so many ways, Saiba, I think you are creating the room and the possibility for these questions to become actual pathways that people say that we need to create ways for girls to access. I think you and your friends are honestly giving so much room for other girls to be like, okay, I need to ask, and maybe I need to pick up driving so that I can drive the car. ट्रूथ इज कि जब एक जरिया खुलता है तो उसके साथ साथ और जरिए भी खुलने लगते
Mm.
हैं. सो यू स्टार्टेड दैट मुहिम, आई वुड से, वेयर यू कैन शो टू अदर गर्ल्स के yeah, it's a very natural thing to hike given that we live here. um,
Exactly.
and inshallah with that more and more opportunities will open. I really can't wait to actually come on a hike with you. So I'm just like waiting that the next time we meet, we should meet in the mountain somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be your host and your guide.
Yes. Thank you so much, Saiba. This has been such a lovely conversation. I hope I've been able to do justice to the experiences you've shared with me. But we'll keep our conversation alive, perhaps offline. And thank you again for
Yeah.
coming on the podcast.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving me a space to put my thoughts and share my experience. I really enjoyed the whole session with you. And it's my first time on a podcast, actually. I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye then. See you.
Thank you for listening to Maybe Muslim. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends and family. I'm Mariam Heather and we'll be back with another episode in a few weeks' time. Until then, take care. Lots of love and gratitude.